Welcome to Catholic Views, where we get to know the faith and those who live it. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. Today on the show, we will have Lois Heron in the studio with me. She is one of our writers for the Bishop's Bulletin. You've probably seen her on some of the Catholic Living videos that we do. She's here to talk about how to teach your kids to pray, how to teach them to be good human beings, and about virtue. We're going to have a couple episodes with Lois. So this is the first one. She is just such a wealth of knowledge and experience with raising kids. So I hope you will join us for that. Speaking of experience with raising kids, we have Dr. Chris Bergwald over
We'll
here.
see. I think Lois and her husband Jeff are empty nesters. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
We're not quite. We're like over halfway there.
Yes.
Three out of the five are out.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you've got quite a little experience.
yeah,
So.
there's some experience for at least some of the journey. So, what's today, Renee?
I believe it's the fourth Sunday of Ordinary Time. It's probably some day that I'm not thinking of.
Casey's back behind
He is.
the scenes.
Casey, what is it?
But not on mic. But that's okay. Casey, do you know what today is?
What I missed?
Is she right? Is she right? She could be right.
Candlemas is what I'm saying.
Is it?
AKA. Do you know what Candlemas is?
I
Right?
do, but I can't think of.
Yeah,
What the other name
it's
is.
the presentation of the Lord.
Yeah,
the feast of
there.
presentation. So this is so it is. This is like we'll be celebrating the fourth week of Ordinary Time.
Okay.
So you were
I'm half right.
you're half right, but because February 2nd happens to, when it falls on a Sunday, instead of celebrating reading the readings and praying the prayers that are proper to the fourth Sunday of Ordinary Time, we read the readings and pray the prayers that are proper to the presentation of the. That's a lot of P's.
That's a lot
To the presentation of the Lord.
Okay.
So.
Because it's not otherwise a holy day of obligation or anything. It's just
Correct.
a feast
It's a feast.
day.
It's a feast day. It's not a solemnity.
Okay.
Not a solemnity that's obligatory,
Okay.
but it is a feast day. So remind me, because I've just, my mind's gone blank, Renee. What is the presentation of the Lord all about?
It is where Mary and Joseph take Jesus to the temple to present him to the Lord. It was actually the theme of Christmas at the Cathedral this year.
It was indeed. So
Yes.
Christmas at the cathedral, but that's like
I know.
weeks ago.
I
What's
know.
going on?
Well, it's kind of part of it, isn't
Why are we celebrating it now in the middle of, at the beginning of, into weeks into ordinary
it?
time?
How many days is it? 40 days after his birth?
What's 40 days after the birth?
When they present him to the temple.
Yes. According to Jewish liturgical ritual law, 40 days after it was proper to bring at least the male child, I think the firstborn male child, is going back to Leviticus, you would bring that child to the temple to have it blessed. Consecrated, if you will, to the Lord. So
Sort of like baptism in a way, but just not the same sacrament.
Yeah, correct, right.
Yeah.
They didn't have the sacraments
Kinda
obviously
that's
yet, but
an idea like that.
Yep. So on the 2nd of February, 40 days after December 25th, the birth of Jesus, we celebrate this. So it's been described as sort of a Christmas feast outside of Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas season is over. This is the traditional end in the old calendar to what was called the Christmas cycle. Different from the Christmas season, but that gets all really confusing. I won't go into much
It's very
detail.
confusing.
But some people will leave their Christmas trees up until February 2nd.
Oh, wow.
Because that's sort of like back in the day. We didn't celebrate Christmas all the way to February 2nd, but there's kind of a liturgical justification for doing that.
I could see doing that if you didn't put your Christmas tree up until like Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Now, if it's a real tree, good luck
But, yeah.
getting it last till February
It's
2nd.
dried
But, it's going to be a Charlie Brown tree probably. But it's also, as Casey said, it's called Candlemas as well. Any idea why?
We have candles?
So, we do, but we always have candles, Renee.
I've read about this, but I do not
So
recall.
part of what we read about in the gospel, the presentation, Simeon and Anna are the two figures besides the Holy Family. And Simeon is this man who's been waiting for the Messiah. The Holy Spirit had sort of told him, whispered to him, however, that he would not die before he saw the Messiah.
Right.
So we read in Luke's gospel, and we hear it in the gospel today, Luke chapter 2, about how Simeon rejoices and he takes the child into his arms, and he speaks about how this will be a light to the Gentiles. This child will be a light to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel. A light to the Gentiles.
All the Jews are like, woo!
No. But so Candlemas, because I was kind of, I said a light to the Gentiles like 3 times, Renee, trying
Yeah,
to
I'm
get
slow.
you to get the hint.
Slow
But
today.
there we go. So that's why it's Candlemas. So your parish may not have celebrated, but there's processions that can begin, candlelit processions that can begin this feast. It really is a great time to sort of look back, but then all look forward because Lent is coming and Jesus will be the light to the world.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Thanks, Dr. B.
You bet.